Listen now. Slow your breathing. Still your thoughts. What I am about to speak is not noise for your ears, but truth for your heart. You did not arrive here by accident. You were drawn. Something within you recognized this moment before your mind could explain it. Stay with me. Do not rush past what is meant to settle deep. What I am saying today is meant to change how you see yourself, how you walk forward, and how you rest at night. You have wondered if time has slipped too far away. You have replayed moments you wish you could undo. You have asked quietly whether silence, hesitation, or mistakes have altered my view of you. Hear me clearly now. Nothing you have walked through surprised me. Nothing you have struggled with caused me to step back. I did not choose you because your path would be easy. I chose you knowing it would be complex, layered, and demanding of strength you did not yet know you carried. I see the places where you learned to doubt yourself. I see the moments when you felt unseen, when effort seemed unnoticed, when obedience felt heavy. You assumed those moments disqualified you. They did not. They refined you. What you called delay, I was using to deepen you. What you called weakness, I was shaping into discernment. What you thought was loss, I was guarding until the right time. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not standing in the wrong chapter. You are exactly where growth happens quietly, where roots strengthen before fruit appears. I do not measure you by speed or comparison. I measure you by willingness, by openness, by the way your heart still responds even after disappointment. If this truth resonates with you, pause and type YES in the comments, not for me, but as a declaration to yourself that you are willing to receive what is being spoken. You have carried a weight I never placed on you. The pressure to prove, to earn, to be enough before resting. That burden did not come from me. I never asked you to perform your way into belonging. You belonged before you understood how fragile you felt. You belonged before your confidence wavered. You belonged when your faith felt quiet and when your prayers felt unsure. Do not confuse stillness with absence. When you felt nothing, I was still working. When you thought I was silent, I was steady. When you believed nothing was changing, I was preparing alignment beyond what you could see. Growth does not always announce itself. Sometimes it settles in quietly, teaching you patience, teaching you trust, teaching you how to stand without applause. I know the questions you didn't ask out loud. I know the fears you masked with strength. I know how often you replayed the thought, did I miss it? Let me answer you now. Nothing meant for you has passed you by. What I placed within you is still alive. It has not expired. It has not been replaced. It has been waiting for you to stop punishing yourself and start walking forward with gentleness. If you agree with this truth, let your fingers respond and type I receive below. Words shape direction when spoken with intention. There is a reason you still feel a pull toward purpose. There is a reason peace visits you even after seasons of unrest. There is a reason you are still standing despite moments that tried to harden you. I am not finished with you. I am not rethinking you. I am not waiting for you to become someone else. I am inviting you to be present as you are and to trust that I am able to work with every part of you. You have learned to evaluate yourself by outcomes. I see you by design. You have measured worth by productivity. I measure it by presence. You have tried to rush healing. I move at a pace that restores deeply. Nothing about the way I am shaping you is rushed or careless. Every step is intentional. Every pause is purposeful. If this message is touching something deep inside you, take a moment and comment AME as an agreement that you are ready to stop striving and start trusting. Now hear this clearly. You are allowed to rest without guilt. You are allowed to move forward without having all the answers. You are allowed to hope again without fear of disappointment. The path ahead is not built on your perfection, but on my faithfulness. I will guide you step by step. You do not need to see the whole road to take the next faithful step. My child, lift your head, not because you have earned approval, but because you have always belonged. Let go of the stories that told you you were behind, broken, or forgotten. Those voices are not mine. I speak with clarity, with assurance, with peace. I call you forward, not with pressure, but with purpose. If you feel encouraged by these words, type, "I trust you" below, and let that be your declaration today. Stay with this series. Do not leave early. What is coming next will help you apply these truths to your daily life, your decisions, and your healing. Each part will build on the last, guiding you gently toward freedom, clarity, and peace. Watch until the end, because what unfolds will strengthen you in ways you do not yet expect. If these words have brought you peace, clarity, or hope, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And if you feel led and happy with what you are receiving, support this ministry through the link given below, so this message can continue reaching hearts that are quietly searching. Remain here with me. Do not let distraction pull you away too quickly. What is unfolding is not meant to be consumed in haste. It is meant to be received slowly, like light entering a room that has been dim for a long time. You may not notice everything change at once, but something within you is already adjusting, already breathing easier, already remembering what it feels like to be held by truth instead of fear. I know how easily you slip back into self-judgment. I know how quickly old thoughts rise and tell you that today will be no different from yesterday. But listen carefully now. I am not bound by your past patterns, and you are not trapped by your former ways of thinking. What feels familiar is not always what is true. What feels comfortable is not always what is healing. I am leading you gently into a new way of seeing, one that restores instead of condemns. You have learned to brace yourself for disappointment. You have learned to expect less, so it hurts less. You have learned to keep hope at a distance, so it cannot wound you again. I understand why you did this. I do not shame you for it. But hear me now. You do not need to protect yourself from me. My intentions toward you are steady. My care does not fluctuate. My presence does not retreat when you feel uncertain. If this resonates with your heart, take a moment and type, "I'm listening," in the comments. Let that be your choice to stay present instead of guarded. You often think strength means holding everything together. You believe resilience means never slowing down. But I am teaching you a different kind of strength. One that allows you to pause without fear. One that lets you admit when you are tired. One that trusts that stopping will not cause everything to fall apart. True strength is not found in constant motion. It is found in knowing when to rest and who to rest with. I see how hard you have tried to do the right thing. I see the care you give even when you feel empty. I see the responsibility you carry quietly. And I want you to know this. Your value has never been measured by how much you endure. You do not earn my closeness by suffering in silence. I am near you because I choose to be, not because you have proven anything. There were moments you felt overlooked. Moments when others moved ahead and you wondered why your path seemed slower. You questioned whether something was wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Your journey is unfolding at the pace that protects your heart and prepares your spirit. I am not delaying you. I am aligning you. If you feel this truth settling in, write, "I understand" below and let it mark a shift in how you see your season. Do not rush to become who you think you should be. I am more interested in who you are becoming than how quickly you arrive. Some changes must grow quietly, so they last. Some lessons must be learned slowly, so they root deeply. You are not falling behind while others move forward. You are being shaped in ways comparison cannot measure. I know the moments when doubt whispers late at night. I know the questions that surface when everything grows quiet. You ask if you are still on the right path, if you have the strength to continue, if the effort will matter in the end. Let me answer you now. Yes, you are still on the path. Yes, you have what you need for today. And yes, what you are doing matters more than you realize. If you agree with this, take a breath and type, "I believe," as an act of trust. Even if your belief feels small right now, you do not need to pressure yourself to feel inspired all the time. Faith is not constant emotion. It is steady direction. Some days will feel light. Others will feel heavy. I walk with you through both. I am not disappointed when your energy dips. I am not distant when your motivation fades. I remain constant and attentive, guiding you even when you feel unsure. You have mistaken quiet seasons for empty ones. But quiet is often where healing happens. Quiet is where clarity forms. Quiet is where I speak most clearly, not over noise, but into openness. Do not rush to fill every pause. Let stillness teach you what striving never could. My child, I see your heart softening again. I see your willingness returning. I see the courage it takes for you to hope after being disappointed. That courage matters. It speaks louder than perfection ever could. You are not starting over from nothing. You are continuing forward with wisdom you did not have before. If this message is encouraging you, comment "thank you" and allow gratitude to anchor what you are receiving. Stay with this journey. Do not step away too soon. Each part is building something within you, layer by layer, truth by truth. What you are learning here is not just meant to comfort you. It is meant to guide your choices, calm your thoughts, and reshape how you walk through everyday life. Watch until the end of this series. Apply what you hear. Let it influence how you speak to yourself, how you treat others, how you respond when fear tries to lead. You are not meant to live driven by pressure. You are meant to live guided by peace. I am with you. I am patient with you. And I will continue speaking as long as you are willing to listen. Stay with me a little longer. Do not drift away just because the words feel gentle. Gentle does not mean weak. What I am giving you now is strength that settles into your bones, not pressure that weighs on your chest. You have lived under enough weight already. This moment is not meant to burden you, it is meant to steady you. You have spent so much time trying to understand what went wrong that you forgot to notice what endured. Look closely. Even after disappointment, you are still here. Even after confusion, your heart still searches for meaning. Even after silence, something in you still responds when truth is spoken. That is not accidental. That is evidence of life still active within you. You assumed survival was all you were capable of. But I am showing you that survival was only the beginning. What you learned in the hard seasons was not just how to endure pain, but how to recognize what truly matters. You learned discernment. You learned compassion. You learned the cost of ignoring your inner voice. None of this was wasted. If this feels personal, pause and type "This is for me" in the comments. Let yourself acknowledge that you are not listening by chance. There were times you felt like you had to shrink to stay safe. Times you held back your thoughts, your gifts, your questions, because being fully seen felt risky. I understand why you did that. But hear me now. You were not created to disappear. You were not shaped to live quietly out of fear. You were shaped to live honestly, with humility and courage walking together. You often mistake humility for hiding. True humility is not making yourself small. It is trusting that you do not need to exaggerate or suppress who you are. It is knowing your value does not come from attention or approval. When you live from that place, you stop striving to be noticed and start living with quiet confidence. I know you are tired of second-guessing yourself, tired of wondering if your decisions are right, tired of feeling like one wrong step could undo everything. That fear is not from me. I do not guide you with threats. I guide you with peace. When you feel constantly pressured, rushed, or afraid of failure, pause. That is not my voice leading you forward. If you agree with this, take a moment and type "I choose peace" below. Choosing peace is often the first step toward clarity. You are learning that not every open door is meant to be entered. Not every opportunity is alignment. Not every demand deserves your energy. This discernment is not loss, it is maturity. You are not missing out by saying no. You are protecting what matters most. I see how you've measured progress by visible results. But there is progress you cannot yet see. There are internal shifts happening, how you respond, how you pause before reacting, how you listen more deeply. These changes are not small, they are foundational. They will support everything that comes next. Do not rush to prove that you are healed. Healing is not a performance. Some days you will feel strong. Other days old feelings may resurface. That does not mean you are moving backward. It means you are human, and growth is layered. I walk with you through every layer. If this comforts you, comment, "I'm growing," as a reminder to yourself that progress does not need to be loud to be real. You have been hard on yourself for needing reassurance. You thought faith meant never needing reminders, but faith grows through remembering, not pretending. That is why I speak again and again. Not because you forget easily, but because the world is loud and truth must be reinforced gently and often. My child, you do not need to become fearless to move forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing not to let fear decide. Every time you take a step despite uncertainty, you are already living bravely. I am not asking you to be perfect. I am asking you to be willing. There will be moments ahead where you feel stretched again. Do not interpret that as punishment. Stretching is how capacity grows. I will not stretch you beyond what I will also support. When you feel challenged, ask not, "Why is this hard?" but, "What is this teaching me?" If you feel ready to trust this process, type, "I will keep going" below. Let that be your commitment, even on days when motivation feels low. You are not meant to walk this path alone, but you are meant to walk it authentically. Do not abandon your values to keep company. Do not silence your truth to maintain comfort. The right connections will not require you to betray yourself. They will meet you where honesty lives. As you continue watching, listening, and applying these words, you will notice subtle shifts. How you speak to yourself will soften. How you respond to pressure will change. How you rest will deepen. This is not coincidence. This is alignment taking shape. Stay until the end of this series. Each part is designed to build clarity, restore confidence, and help you live with intention rather than reaction. Apply what you hear. Reflect on it. Let it guide your choices, not just your emotions. You are becoming steadier. You are becoming wiser. And you are not doing this alone. I am here, guiding you step by step, reminding you of who you are when the noise tries to make you forget. Stay present. Do not let familiarity dull your attention. What I am unfolding now is meant to reach deeper than encouragement. It is meant to reshape how you interpret your experiences, how you respond to pressure, and how you understand your own worth. You have lived long enough reacting to circumstances. Now I am teaching you how to live rooted, not shaken by every change. You have noticed how easily your mind returns to old conclusions, how quickly you assume the worst when something feels uncertain. This is not because you lack faith. It is because you learned to survive by anticipating disappointment. That pattern once protected you, but it does not need to lead you anymore. I am inviting you into a new posture, one that does not brace for impact, but leans into trust. You are not required to have everything figured out before taking the next step. Clarity often comes after movement, not before it. I guide those who are willing to walk, not those who wait until every detail feels safe. You are allowed to begin even while questions remain. You are allowed to move forward even while confidence is still forming. If this speaks to you, pause and type, "I will move forward" in the comments as a quiet agreement with yourself. You have mistaken caution for wisdom. While discernment is valuable, fear disguised as wisdom can keep you stuck. Wisdom listens, weighs, and then responds with peace. Fear listens and rushes to protect. Learn to tell the difference. When a decision leaves you tense, restless, and constantly second-guessing, that is not the calm direction I give. My guidance settles you, even when the path requires courage. I know you want certainty. You want reassurance that your effort will pay off, that your trust will not be wasted. But faith does not grow in certainty. It grows in relationship. Each step you take with me builds familiarity. Each choice made with integrity strengthens confidence. You are learning to trust, not outcomes, but my presence with you through every outcome. If you feel this truth aligning within you, take a moment and write, "I trust the process below." You have been too quick to label yourself inconsistent. You judged your pauses as failure and your slower days as weakness. But rhythm is not inconsistency. Seasons change for a reason. There are times to act boldly and times to listen carefully. Both are part of healthy growth. You do not need to force productivity in every moment to be faithful. You are allowed to enjoy progress without anxiety. You are allowed to rest without explaining yourself. You are allowed to say no without guilt. These freedoms are not signs of selfishness. They are signs of maturity. When you stop operating from fear of falling behind, you start walking with intention. Notice how often you compare your inner journey to someone else's outer display. You do not see their doubts, their private struggles, their moments of uncertainty. Comparison distorts truth. It makes you overlook the depth of your own transformation. What I am doing in you may not be loud, but it is lasting. If this encourages you, comment. I release comparison and let that choice free you from unnecessary pressure. My child, I see the sincerity of your heart. I see how deeply you care about doing what is right. I see how much thought you give to your choices. You are not careless. You are not indifferent. And you are not forgotten. Every sincere effort matters, even when results take time to appear. You do not need to replay old decisions endlessly. Reflection is helpful, rumination is not. There is a difference between learning and punishing yourself. Once insight has been gained, let the moment rest. Carry wisdom forward, not regret. I do not bring past mistakes to shame you. I bring truth to free you. There will be moments ahead when you feel uncertain again. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are stretching into something new. Growth often feels unfamiliar before it feels stable. When discomfort arises, ask yourself whether it is fear resisting change or wisdom signaling caution. Then, listen quietly. I will guide you. If you're willing to listen more closely, type, "I'm open," as a simple intention. You are learning how to respond instead of react, how to pause instead of panic, how to breathe instead of rush. These shifts may seem small, but they are changing the way you live. Over time, they will shape your relationships, your work, and your sense of peace. Stay with this series. Do not skip ahead or leave early. Each part builds on what came before, helping you apply truth to real moments in your life. Decisions, conversations, quiet evenings, and challenging days. Watch until the end, not for information alone, but for transformation. You are not becoming someone new by force. You are remembering who you are by truth. And as you continue, you will find that living this way feels lighter, steadier, and more aligned than anything driven by fear ever could. I am here. I am patient. And I will continue leading you, step by step, into clarity, peace, and quiet strength. Stay here with me. Do not treat this moment as something ordinary. There are times when truth must be repeated, not because it was forgotten, but because it has not yet fully settled. What I am speaking now is meant to reach the places in you that still tense up when the future feels uncertain, the places that still assume peace will not last. Breathe slowly and listen. You are safe to receive this. You have learned to stay alert, always preparing for what might go wrong. You trained yourself to expect disruption even in calm moments. That habit was formed in seasons where stability felt fragile. I understand that, but you are not required to live on guard forever. You are allowed to loosen your grip. You are allowed to trust that not every good moment will be taken away. You often confuse peace with passivity. You fear that if you stop pushing, everything will stop moving. But peace does not stop growth. Peace directs it. When your spirit is calm, your decisions become clearer. When your heart is settled, your steps become steadier. I am not calling you into stagnation. I am calling you into alignment. If this truth resonates, take a moment and type, "I allow peace," in the comments. Let that be a conscious choice today. You have been trying to manage outcomes instead of walking in obedience. You want assurance before surrender. You want certainty before trust. But faith does not work that way. Faith grows as you walk, not as you wait for guarantees. Every time you choose integrity over fear, you are already moving in the right direction. I see how much energy you spend replaying conversations, decisions, and possibilities. Your mind works tirelessly, trying to predict and prevent pain. But hear me, you are not meant to carry tomorrow's weight today. Thinking ahead is wise. Living ahead is exhausting. Stay present. Grace is supplied daily, not all at once. There are moments when you feel pressure to prove that you are changing, healing, or growing. But growth does not need an audience. Healing does not require validation. Some of the most important work happens quietly, where only you and I see it. And that is enough. If you feel relief in hearing this, comment, "That's enough for me," and let yourself rest in that truth. You have questioned whether your gentleness makes you weak. You have wondered if being sensitive puts you at a disadvantage. But sensitivity is not fragility. It is awareness. It allows you to notice what others overlook. It helps you respond with compassion instead of reaction. It is a strength when guided by wisdom. Do not harden yourself to survive. I did not shape you for that. I shaped you to remain open while being grounded, kind while being discerning, soft while being strong. This balance is learned, not forced, and you are learning it now. My child, I see the effort it takes for you to remain hopeful. I see the courage it takes to believe again after disappointment. I see how carefully you guard your heart now. I am not asking you to throw that caution away. I am asking you to place it in my care. Let me carry what you no longer need to hold so tightly. If you are willing to release control a little more, type "I release it" below. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Do not let that discourage you. Roots grow underground before anything breaks the surface. Just because you cannot see immediate results does not mean nothing is happening. Trust the process that is forming strength beneath what is visible. You are not meant to live driven by urgency. Hurry clouds discernment. Pressure distorts purpose. I lead with clarity, not chaos. When you feel rushed from within, pause. That urgency is not from me. I do not demand frantic movement. I invite steady obedience. You may still stumble. You may still have moments of doubt. That does not undo your growth. Learning is not linear. Return quickly when you drift. Do not punish yourself for being human. I am not keeping score the way you think I am. I am guiding you, not grading you. If this helps you breathe easier, type "I'm learning" as a reminder that growth allows space for mistakes. Stay with this message. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is meant to strengthen you, not just emotionally, but practically. How you think, how you respond, how you rest, how you move forward in daily life. Apply these truths slowly. Let them change how you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. If these words are helping you, encouraging you, or bringing you peace, take a moment now to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who needs hope today. And if you feel happy and supported by what you are receiving, consider supporting this ministry through the link given below, so these messages can continue reaching those who feel unseen and weary. You are not alone on this path. I am with you, steady and near, and what I am building in you now will sustain you far longer than anything built by pressure ever could. Stay with me as we continue. Do not skim these words or rush past them. What I am speaking now is meant to reach the places in you that still tense when responsibility presses in, the places that feel responsible for holding everything together. I am not here to add more weight to your life. I am here to show you how to carry only what is truly yours. You have assumed that if you do not stay alert, something will fall apart. You learn to stay vigilant because once, long ago, you had to. But that season does not define this one. You are not required to remain in survival mode when safety has already been provided. It is time to unlearn the habit of constant readiness and learn the posture of trust. There are responsibilities you have taken on that were never assigned to you. Emotional burdens, expectations, outcomes that belong to others. You picked them up because you care, because you didn't want anyone to be disappointed, because you believed love meant carrying more than your share. But love does not ask you to disappear. Love does not require you to be exhausted. If this speaks to you, pause and type, "I'm laying it down," in the comments. Let that be a conscious release. You do not have to anticipate every need to be valuable. You do not have to fix every situation to be faithful. There are things I will handle without your help. There are moments where your obedience is simply to stay present, not to solve. When you rush to intervene out of fear, you often interrupt what patience would have revealed. I see how quickly you blame yourself when something goes wrong, how instinctively you look inward and ask what you could have done differently. Reflection can be healthy, but self-accusation is not wisdom. You are allowed to learn without condemning yourself. You are allowed to grow without carrying shame. You have mistaken responsibility for identity. You thought who you are depended on what you manage, but your worth was never tied to how much you can hold. You are valuable because you exist, because you are known, because you are loved. Everything else is secondary. If you feel this truth easing something inside you, write, "I am enough" below, and let that truth anchor you today. You have been afraid that if you slow down, you will lose momentum. But speed is not the same as direction. Slowing down does not mean stopping. It means aligning. When you move at a pace that allows you to listen, you make fewer corrections later. When you honor your limits, you preserve your strength for what truly matters. I know how often you feel pulled in different directions, demands competing for your attention, voices offering advice, opinions, expectations. This noise can make it hard to hear what is essential. That is why I call you back to simplicity. Fewer distractions, clearer priorities, a quieter heart. You are not required to answer every call immediately. You are not obligated to respond to every urgency. Discernment sometimes sounds like silence. Wisdom often waits before speaking. You do not owe instant access to everyone. If you are willing to practice this kind of wisdom, type, "I choose clarity," as a reminder to pause before reacting. My child, I see how deeply you care about doing what is right. I see the sincerity behind your efforts. But sincerity does not require self-neglect. I am teaching you to serve from fullness, not from depletion. When you give from overflow, you do not resent what you give. You remain present, not pressured. You have believed that rest must be earned, that only after everything is complete are you allowed to pause. But if you wait for everything to be finished, you will never rest. There will always be something more. Rest is not a reward, it is a rhythm, and rhythms keep you healthy. Notice how different your thoughts become when you are rested, how your patience increases, how your perspective widens. Rest does not make you lazy. It makes you clear. And clarity leads to wiser choices. If this truth feels freeing, comment, "I accept rest," and let go of the guilt you've been carrying. There will be times ahead when you are tempted to return to old habits of overextending. When that happens, pause. Ask yourself whether you are acting from trust or from fear. Acting from fear may feel urgent, but it rarely brings peace. Acting from trust may feel slower, but it brings stability. You are learning to listen inwardly before responding outwardly. This skill will serve you in every area of life, in conversations, in decisions, In moments of tension, you do not need to rush to prove your worth. It is already established. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is designed to help you live these truths, not just hear them. Apply them in small ways. How you schedule your time, how you speak to yourself, how you choose when to engage and when to step back. You are becoming more grounded, more aware, more at peace. This is not accidental. It is the result of choosing to listen, to slow down, to trust. And I will continue to guide you as you practice living this way, step by steady step. Stay attentive. What I am about to speak now is meant to settle your inner life, not excite it for a moment and then fade. You have lived long enough reacting to what happens around you. I am teaching you how to live from what is anchored within you. This is where steadiness begins, not when circumstances behave, but when your heart learns where to stand. You have noticed how easily your emotions rise and fall with situations. One word can lift you. One delay can drain you. One unexpected change can unsettle your peace. This does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. But I do not want your inner world to be ruled by what happens outside you. I want it guided by truth that remains when everything else shifts. You have tried to control feelings by controlling outcomes. You thought that if you could manage situations well enough, peace would follow. But peace does not come from control. It comes from trust. Control tightens you. Trust steadies you. When you trust, you respond rather than react. You choose rather than panic. If this speaks to you, pause and type, "I choose steadiness," in the comments. Let that be a reminder of the direction you are learning to walk. I know how deeply you feel things. I know how quickly your mind connects patterns and anticipates results. This sensitivity can feel like a burden when unmanaged, but when guided, it becomes wisdom. Sensitivity teaches you to notice what is subtle. It allows you to sense when something is off before it becomes harmful. The key is learning not to let it run you. You do not need to suppress your emotions to be strong. Strength is not numbness. Strength is awareness with restraint. It is knowing what you feel without letting it dictate what you do. When emotions rise, acknowledge them, then return to truth. Truth grounds you when feelings feel loud. There are moments when you feel disappointed in yourself for reacting instead of responding. Do not condemn yourself for that. Condemnation does not produce change. Awareness does. Each time you notice a reaction, you are already growing. Growth is often first seen in recognition, before it is seen in behavior. If you are willing to learn from moments instead of judging yourself, type, "I'm becoming aware," below. You have asked why peace sometimes feels fragile. Peace feels fragile when it is built on circumstances, but when it is built on trust, it becomes resilient. Circumstances change. Trust deepens. The more you practice trusting me in small things, the more stable your peace becomes in larger ones. I am not asking you to ignore reality. I am asking you not to be ruled by it. Reality is information, not authority. Let it inform you, not define you. You can acknowledge difficulty without surrendering hope. You can recognize uncertainty without abandoning confidence. My child, I see how often you replay interactions in your mind, wondering if you said the right thing, did enough, or could have responded better. Reflection is helpful, but replay becomes heavy when it turns into self-doubt. Learn to review with kindness. Ask what you learned, then release the moment. Carry insight forward, not self-criticism. If this brings relief, write, "I release replaying" as a small but meaningful step today. You are learning that not every emotion requires immediate action. Some feelings simply need space to pass. When you act too quickly, you often respond to intensity rather than truth. When you pause, clarity has room to surface. Silence can be an ally when used wisely. There will be times when you feel misunderstood, times when others do not see your intent or effort. Resist the urge to over-explain. Your integrity does not depend on constant clarification. Truth reveals itself over time. Let your consistency speak where words would only exhaust you. You do not need to defend yourself against every misunderstanding. You do not need to correct every assumption. Choose where your energy goes. Peace grows when you stop trying to manage how everyone perceives you. If this resonates, comment, "I choose where I invest," and let discernment guide you. You are discovering that maturity looks quieter than you expected. It looks like restraint instead of reaction, listening instead of interrupting, confidence without announcement. This kind of maturity will serve you well. It will protect your peace and deepen your relationships. As you continue in this series, watch until the end. Do not rush through it. Each part is meant to help you apply truth practically, in conversations, in decisions, in moments of stress, and in times of rest. Let these words shape not just what you feel, but how you live. Practice this today. When something unsettles you, pause before responding. Take a breath. Ask what is true, not just what is loud. Choose the response that aligns with peace rather than urgency. These small choices compound into a steadier life. You are not losing your sensitivity. You are learning to guide it. You are not becoming detached. You are becoming grounded. And with each step, you are learning how to live from a place of calm strength rather than constant reaction. I am with you in this process. Patient. Steady. And I will continue to teach you how to walk in peace that does not depend on everything going right, but on knowing where your foundation truly stands. Remain with me. Do not let your attention drift just because these words feel familiar. Truth often needs time to move from your understanding into your living. What I am speaking now is meant to shape how you carry yourself when no one is watching, how you decide when the path feels unclear, and how you treat yourself when progress feels slow. You have learned to question yourself quickly. You doubt your instincts, your discernment, your ability to choose well. This did not come from a lack of wisdom. It came from moments when your trust was shaken, when you listened, tried, hoped, and still felt disappointed. Over time, you learned to hesitate. But hesitation does not mean you are incapable. It means you are cautious because you care. I am restoring your confidence gently, not by removing all uncertainty, but by teaching you how to listen inwardly without fear. Discernment grows through practice. Each time you choose honesty, each time you pause instead of reacting, each time you act with integrity even when unsure, your confidence strengthens. Trust is built through experience, not perfection. If this speaks to you, pause and type, "I am learning to trust myself," in the comments. Let that be an affirmation of growth, not pressure. You often ask whether you are making the right choices. But there is more grace in your decisions than you realize. You are not careless. You are thoughtful. You are not reckless. You are attentive. Even when you make mistakes, you learn quickly. I am not asking you to be flawless. I am asking you to be willing to grow. You have been afraid that one wrong decision could undo everything. That fear has kept you frozen at times. But life is not so fragile. Growth allows room for correction. Direction is shaped over time. You are not walking on a narrow edge where one misstep sends everything crashing down. You are walking a path where learning is expected. When you feel uncertain, return to what you know is true. Act from values rather than fear. Ask not, "What if this fails?" but, "Does this align with who I am becoming?" Alignment brings peace, even when outcomes remain unknown. If you feel ready to move with this mindset, type, "I choose alignment," below. You are learning to distinguish between intuition and anxiety. Anxiety rushes and demands immediate answers. Intuition speaks calmly, even when urging courage. Anxiety feels tight. Intuition feels clear. This distinction becomes easier as you slow down and listen without panic. Do not rush decisions to escape discomfort. Discomfort does not always mean danger. Sometimes it signals growth. Give yourself permission to sit with uncertainty long enough to hear what truly matters. Answers surface when pressure releases. My child, I see how often you underestimate the wisdom you already carry. You think you need more confirmation, more assurance, more signs. But you have been guided well so far. You have learned from your experiences. You are more aware now than you were before. Trust that growth has already occurred. If this comforts you, comment, "I acknowledge my growth," and let that recognition strengthen you. You do not need to announce every step you take. Quiet progress is still progress. There is power in consistency that does not seek recognition. Let your life speak through steadiness rather than explanation. Those who are meant to understand will see it in time. You have also been learning when to let go. Not every situation needs your effort. Not every connection deserves your energy. Release is not loss, it is clarity. When you let go of what drains you, you make room for what strengthens you. Notice how your peace increases when you stop trying to manage what is outside your control. Control exhausts. Trust restores. You are allowed to step back and allow things to unfold without interference. If you are willing to practice this, type "I let go with trust" as a gentle commitment today. There will be moments ahead when doubt returns. This does not mean you are regressing. It means you are human. When doubt appears, do not fight it aggressively. Acknowledge it, then return to truth. Doubt loses power when it is not feared. You are learning that faith is not constant confidence, but consistent direction. Some days you will move boldly. Other days you will move carefully. Both are acceptable. What matters is that you continue moving with honesty. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is designed to build on the last, helping you apply these truths to real situations, decisions you face, conversations you navigate, and moments when you question yourself. Do not rush the process. Let it unfold naturally. Apply what you hear in small ways today. Pause before deciding. Listen before reacting. Choose alignment over urgency. These practices will slowly transform how you experience life, bringing more peace, clarity, and confidence. You are becoming more grounded, more discerning, more trusting. And you are not walking this path alone. I am guiding you patiently, helping you grow not by force, but by truth that settles deeply and lasts. Remain with me. Let these words meet you where you actually are, not where you think you should be. You have spent so much time correcting yourself, adjusting yourself, improving yourself, that you have forgotten how to simply be present. This moment is not asking you to fix anything. It is asking you to notice what is already changing within you. You have been learning to live more honestly. Not louder, not faster, but truer. And honesty can feel uncomfortable at first. When you stop pretending you are fine, when you stop forcing optimism, when you stop hiding fatigue behind effort, emotions surface that were long held down. This is not regression. This is release. What comes up is not there to overwhelm you. It is there to be acknowledged and then softened. You are taught to move past feelings quickly, to stay strong, to stay productive, to stay composed. But strength that never pauses becomes brittle. I am teaching you how to be strong without being hard, to be steady without being closed, to be aware without being overwhelmed. If this speaks to your current season, pause and type "I allow honesty" in the comments. Let that be your permission to feel without judgment. You have noticed that some days feel heavier than others without a clear reason. This does not mean something is wrong. It often means something deeper is adjusting. When old beliefs loosen, when identity shifts, when pressure releases, your inner world reorganizes. Give yourself patience during this process. You do not need to rush clarity. It will come. You are not meant to carry clarity for your entire future at once. Today only requires today's wisdom. Tomorrow will bring its own. When you try to live too far ahead, anxiety grows. When you return to the present moment, peace becomes accessible again. Practice asking, what is required of me right now, rather than, how will everything turn out? If this helps you refocus, type one step at a time as a reminder to stay present. You have also been learning how to listen differently, not just to voices around you, but to the quiet signals within you. Fatigue is information. Resistance is information. Peace is information. Do not ignore these signals. They are not inconveniences. They are guidance. When you listen early, you avoid correction later. There were times when you overrode these signals because you didn't want to disappoint anyone, because you didn't want to appear weak, because you didn't trust that slowing down was allowed. But you are learning now that honoring your limits is not failure. It is stewardship of the life you've been given. My child, I see how carefully you are beginning to choose. You think more before committing. You pause before responding. You reflect before reacting. This is growth, even if it feels slower than before. Speed once helped you survive. Discernment will now help you thrive. If you recognize this shift in yourself, comment, I see the change, and let that awareness strengthen you. You are also learning that not every emotion needs to be shared immediately. Some things need time to mature before they are spoken. Silence is not avoidance when it is chosen with intention. You are allowed to protect your inner process while it unfolds. There may be people who do not understand this quieter version of you. They may interpret your pauses as distance, your boundaries as withdrawal. Let them. You are not responsible for managing every perception. You are responsible for living with integrity and peace. You are learning that clarity often arrives after rest, not after pressure. That insight surfaces after space, not after force. When you feel confused, instead of pushing harder, try softening. Step back. Breathe. Give your mind room to settle. Answers rise more easily in calm waters. If this resonates, type, I choose calm, and let that be your response to confusion today. You do not need to return to who you were to be valuable. Growth changes you. Healing reshapes you. Awareness refines you. This does not mean you are losing yourself. It means you are becoming more aligned with what is true. Let go of the fear that change means abandonment of your identity. Change is how identity matures. There will still be moments when old habits try to return, when urgency whispers, when self-doubt resurfaces, when comparison tempts you again. When that happens, do not panic. Recognition is already progress. Gently redirect yourself. You are not starting over. You are continuing forward with awareness. If you are willing to practice gentleness with yourself, type, I choose compassion below. Stay with this journey. Watch until the end of the series. Each part is meant to guide you not just emotionally, but practically. How you manage your time, your energy, your thoughts, and your relationships. Apply these truths slowly. Let them shape your daily rhythms, not just your reflections. Today, practice this. Notice when you feel pressure rising. Pause instead of pushing. Ask what is truly necessary in that moment. Respond from clarity, not obligation. These small choices are building a steadier life than you realize. You are not falling apart. You are coming into alignment. You are not losing direction. You are refining it. And as you continue, you will find that living this way brings a quiet confidence, a deeper peace, and a sense of groundedness that no external approval could ever provide. I am here with you, steady, patient, present, guiding you through this unfolding, one honest step at a time. Stay with me. This part is not meant to rush you forward, but to steady you where you stand. There is a difference between movement that comes from rest and movement that comes from pressure. I am teaching you how to recognize that difference, so you no longer exhaust yourself trying to arrive somewhere you are already being guided toward. You have been measuring your life by visible milestones. You look for signs that something is happening before you allow yourself to feel hopeful. But much of what matters most grows quietly. The deepest changes rarely announce themselves. They reshape how you think, how you respond, how you carry yourself when no one is watching. These are not small changes. They are foundational. You sometimes wonder if you should feel further along by now. You ask why certain things still feel tender, why some lessons seem to repeat. Understand this clearly. Repetition does not mean failure. Repetition means reinforcement. What is repeated is being strengthened, not wasted. You are not stuck. You are being established. If this speaks to you, pause and type, "I am being strengthened," in the comments. Let that truth replace the lie that nothing is changing. You have learned to associate progress with effort. You believe that if you were doing things correctly, it would feel harder, heavier, more demanding. But that was never my design. Progress with me often feels lighter, not heavier. It feels clearer, not more complicated. When your steps begin to feel simpler, that is not laziness, it is alignment. There are things you once pushed for that you no longer chase. There are battles you once fought that you now walk away from. This is not because you stopped caring. It is because you learned discernment. Wisdom teaches you where to invest and where to release. Not every conflict deserves your energy. Not every challenge requires your response. You have been afraid that letting go means losing something important. But many times, letting go is how you gain peace. Peace does not come from holding everything together. It comes from knowing what truly matters and choosing it consistently. If you feel this truth settling in, write, "I choose what matters," below. You are also learning how to wait without anxiety. Waiting no longer feels like punishment. It feels like preparation. When you wait with trust, you are not idle. You are attentive. You are learning. You are becoming ready for what cannot be rushed. Some things arrive only when your inner life is stable enough to hold them. I see how you have grown more patient with others, how you pause before reacting, how you listen more deeply. These changes did not come from pressure. They came from awareness, and they will shape the way you build relationships, make decisions, and lead your life. You have been tempted to look back and wonder if you should have done things differently. Reflection can teach you, but regret will trap you. The past cannot be rewritten, but it can be integrated. Carry forward what you learned and release the rest. You are not required to punish yourself to prove you understand. If this gives you freedom, comment, "I release the past," and let that be a turning point. My child, I know how deeply you desire to live well, not just successfully, but meaningfully. That desire matters. It guides your choices even when you feel unsure. You are not careless with your life. You are thoughtful, intentional, and growing more grounded each day. You are beginning to recognize when something is misaligned before it causes damage. You notice the tension sooner. You feel the restlessness earlier. This awareness is a gift. It allows you to adjust gently instead of being forced to correct painfully later. Trust this growing sensitivity. It is part of your wisdom. You have also learned that clarity does not always arrive as a sudden answer. Often, it unfolds as a quiet knowing, a sense of rightness, a calm confidence that grows over time. Do not dismiss these subtle signals. They guide you more faithfully than loud certainty ever could. If you are willing to trust this quieter guidance, type, "I listen inwardly," as an intention today. There will be moments when you feel tempted to rush ahead again, to prove progress, to chase reassurance. When that happens, pause. Ask yourself whether you are moving from trust or from fear. Fear always demands speed. Trust allows patience. Choose accordingly. You are learning how to live without constantly evaluating yourself, without asking if you are doing enough, being enough, becoming enough. You already are enough to keep walking forward. Growth does not require self-criticism. It requires honesty and consistency. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is designed to support not just your emotions, but your daily life. How you think in the morning, how you respond under pressure, how you rest at night. apply what you hear gently. Let it shape your habits, not overwhelm you. Today, practice this. Notice when you feel the urge to rush. Pause. Take one slow breath. Ask what the next right step is. Not the entire plan, just the next step. Then take it with calm intention. You are not drifting, you are being led. You are not falling behind. You are being prepared. And as you continue, you will discover that this steady, grounded way of living brings a depth of peace and confidence that no amount of striving ever could. I remain with you, constant, patient, unwavering, guiding you as you learn to live from trust rather than pressure, from clarity rather than fear, one grounded step at a time. Stay with me. This part is meant to help you understand what to do when the road ahead feels ordinary again. Not heavy, not dramatic, just quiet. You have learned to expect that growth always feels intense, emotional, or obvious. But some of the most important seasons feel simple, even uneventful. That does not mean nothing is happening. It means you are learning how to live without constant inner turbulence. You have noticed that the urgency you once lived with is slowly fading. At times, this feels unfamiliar, almost unsettling. You wonder if you are losing passion or becoming indifferent. You are not. What you are losing is anxiety. What you are gaining is steadiness. Passion fueled by pressure burns quickly. Purpose grounded in peace lasts. You once believed that if something mattered, it had to feel heavy. But weight is not proof of meaning. Some things matter deeply because they are sustainable, not because they are exhausting. I am teaching you how to care without carrying, how to engage without overextending, how to remain committed without being consumed. If this reflects your current season, pause and type, "I am learning balance" in the comments. Let that acknowledgement ground you. You are becoming more comfortable with simplicity. You no longer need everything to feel urgent, to feel important. You are beginning to appreciate steady routines, clear boundaries, and quiet consistency. This is not settling for less. This is maturing into what supports your well-being. You have been tempted to create urgency when none is required, just to feel productive or relevant. But productivity is not measured by constant motion. Relevance is not proven by exhaustion. You are allowed to live at a pace that allows you to breathe and think clearly. There will be moments when boredom tries to disguise itself as dissatisfaction. When that happens, pause before assuming something is wrong. Ask whether your soul is craving stimulation or meaning. Often, boredom is an invitation to deepen, not to escape. If this helps you reframe your thoughts, type, "I will pause and reflect" below. You are also learning how to trust consistency over intensity. Intensity can feel powerful, but it is not always reliable. Consistency builds resilience. It forms habits that carry you through days when motivation fades. It allows you to show up even when inspiration is quiet. You no longer need emotional highs to confirm that you are on the right path. Stability is not stagnation. It is strength that has learned how to remain. You are building something that will support you long-term, not just impress in the moment. My child, I see how you sometimes miss the feeling of urgency because it made you feel needed. But you do not need to be needed to be valuable. You do not need to be in crisis to be significant. Your presence matters even when things are calm. If this truth eases something inside you, comment, "I matter even in calm," and let that replace old patterns of striving. You are beginning to notice how much energy you once spent preparing for things that never happened. Imagined outcomes, hypothetical failures, anticipated disappointments. As you release this habit, mental space opens. With that space comes clarity, creativity, and rest. You may feel unsure how to fill this new space at first. That is normal. When noise quiets, stillness can feel loud. Do not rush to fill it. Let it teach you. Stillness is not emptiness. It is room for awareness to grow. You are also learning how to enjoy progress without constantly evaluating it. You are less focused on measuring yourself and more focused on living honestly. This shift will free you from comparison and self-judgment. You do not need to assess your worth daily. It is already established. If you are willing to stop measuring yourself so harshly, type, "I release constant evaluation as a commitment today." There will still be days when old habits try to return, overthinking, rushing, self-criticism. When that happens, gently redirect yourself. Growth does not require force. It requires consistency. Return to what steadies you. Return to truth. Return to peace. You are learning that fulfillment does not come from chasing significance, but from living aligned with your values. When your actions match your inner truth, contentment follows naturally. This is a quieter joy than excitement, but it is deeper and more stable. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is meant to help you apply what you are learning to everyday life. How you structure your time, how you respond to calm as well as challenge, how you remain grounded when things are no longer chaotic. Today, practice this. When you notice the urge to create urgency, pause. Ask whether action is truly required or if rest would serve you better. Choose the response that supports your long-term peace rather than your short-term anxiety. You are not losing momentum. You are finding rhythm. You are not becoming less engaged. You are becoming more intentional. And as you continue, you will discover that this steady way of living brings a sense of quiet confidence that does not need constant reassurance. I am with you in the ordinary moments, not just the dramatic ones. And it is often in these ordinary moments that the strongest foundations are formed, one steady, honest day at a time. Stay with me a little longer. What I am speaking now is meant to guide you through moments when motivation is quiet and discipline feels ordinary. You once believed that meaningful living required constant inspiration, but inspiration rises and falls. What sustains you is alignment. Small, steady choices that keep you rooted even when feelings fluctuate. You are learning that consistency is not dull, it is dependable. It does not thrill the way urgency does, but it carries you farther. When you show up again and again, honestly, patiently, you build a life that does not collapse under pressure. This is the strength I am forming in you now. There will be days when you wake up without clear direction, without excitement, without energy to spare. Do not interpret this as failure. Ordinary days are not wasted days. They are the ground where trust is practiced quietly. When you choose to act with integrity on days that feel unremarkable, you train your life to remain steady when challenges arise. If this resonates, pause and type, "I choose faithfulness" in the comments. Let that be your commitment to showing up, even when things feel simple. You have asked whether you are still moving forward when progress is not obvious. Hear this clearly. Forward movement does not always feel like momentum. Sometimes it feels like maintenance, protecting what you have already built, guarding your peace, honoring your limits. This work is just as important as visible growth. You once thought rest meant stopping. Now you are learning that rest can be active. Active in listening, active in reflection, active in care for your inner life. When you rest well, you respond better. When you respond better, your choices become wiser. This cycle builds resilience over time. You are also learning that discipline does not have to be harsh to be effective. Gentle structure can support you without suffocating you. Clear boundaries can free you rather than restrict you. When you design your days with intention, you give yourself room to breathe and space to grow. If this helps you rethink discipline, type, "I choose gentle structure" below. You have been tempted to compare your current pace with past seasons when everything felt intense. You wonder if you are losing drive. You are not losing drive, you are gaining sustainability. Intensity may produce quick results, but sustainability builds a life that lasts. Do not trade long-term peace for short-term excitement. My child, I see the care you are learning to give yourself without abandoning responsibility. This balance matters. You are discovering that self-respect and commitment can coexist. You do not need to neglect yourself to be dependable. You do not need to exhaust yourself to be faithful. There will be moments when you feel tempted to quit simply because the journey feels quiet. Resist that urge. Quiet does not mean empty. Quiet often means you are no longer fighting yourself. That is progress worth protecting. If you recognize this shift, comment, "I honor the quiet," and allow yourself to value it. You are also learning how to manage disappointment without letting it define you. Disappointment does not erase your effort. It refines your expectations. When things do not unfold as hoped, you are learning to pause, reflect, and adjust instead of spiraling into self-blame. This ability will serve you well. It will help you recover more quickly, learn more deeply, and remain open instead of closing off. Flexibility is not weakness. It is wisdom that adapts. You have been practicing responding rather than reacting. Sometimes this means waiting before speaking. Sometimes it means choosing not to engage. Sometimes it means acknowledging a feeling without acting on it. These moments shape your character more than dramatic decisions ever could. If you feel encouraged by this, type, "I respond with wisdom," as a reminder today. You are also discovering that clarity often follows commitment. You do not always feel certain before you begin. But once you commit to honesty, consistency, and care, clarity emerges naturally. Trust grows as you walk, not as you wait for perfect confidence. There will still be days when doubt whispers that you are doing too little or moving too slowly. When that happens, return to what is true. You are showing up, you are learning, you are adjusting. That is enough for today. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is designed to support you in real life. How you move through ordinary days, how you handle quiet seasons, how you remain grounded without constant stimulation. Apply what you hear in small ways. Let it shape your routines, your self-talk, and your expectations. Practice this today. Choose one small intentional action that supports your well-being. Not something impressive, something sustainable. Then do it without judging yourself. Let consistency, not intensity, be your guide. You are building a life that can hold both calm and challenge. You are learning to trust steady growth over dramatic change. And as you continue, you will find that this way of living brings a sense of peace and confidence that does not depend on how loud or exciting your days feel. I am with you in the quiet discipline, in the steady rhythms, in the small, faithful steps. And through these ordinary choices, something enduring is taking shape. One day, one decision, one calm breath at a time. Stay with me. What I am speaking now is meant to guide you through moments when progress feels subtle and the results of your effort are not immediately visible. You have been taught to look for confirmation before you trust yourself. But some confirmations arrive quietly, through peace that remains even when nothing dramatic changes. Learn to recognize this peace. It is one of the clearest signs that you are aligned. You have spent much of your life looking outward for signals, approval, validation, reassurance. When those signals were absent, doubt rushed in. But I am teaching you how to listen inwardly, how to notice what steadies you rather than what excites you. Excitement fades quickly. Steadiness stays. You are learning that the absence of chaos is not emptiness. Calm does not mean stagnation. Calm means your inner life is no longer constantly reacting. This is not a loss of passion. It is the beginning of discernment. When the noise fades, wisdom becomes easier to hear. If this speaks to your heart, pause and type, "I value steadiness," in the comments. Let that affirmation anchor you today. You have been tempted to measure growth by how different you feel, but growth is often seen more clearly in how you respond. You pause where you once rushed. You reflect where you once reacted. You choose restraint where you once felt compelled to prove something. These shifts may seem small, but they are shaping your future more than you realize. You no longer need to convince yourself that you are moving forward. Your choices already show it. When you choose honesty over comfort, clarity over urgency, and rest over burnout, you are walking wisely. Do not underestimate the power of these decisions, simply because they are quiet. There will be moments when others misunderstand your pace. They may think you are slowing down too much, becoming less ambitious, or disengaging. Let them think what they will. You are not responsible for managing every perception. You are responsible for living in alignment with truth. If this brings relief, write, "I walk my own pace," below. You are also learning how to live without constantly anticipating loss. You once held joy cautiously, bracing for disappointment. That habit protected you in difficult seasons, but it is no longer needed now. You are allowed to enjoy what is good without fear of it being taken away. Joy does not have to be guarded to be safe. Trust grows when you allow yourself to experience peace fully instead of expecting it to disappear. Each time you enjoy calm without anxiety, you retrain your heart. Over time, peace feels less fragile and more familiar. My child, I see how carefully you are learning to trust again. Trusting not just situations, but yourself, your discernment, your ability to respond wisely, your capacity to recover when things do not go as planned. This trust is not blind. It is built on experience and awareness. If you recognize this growth, comment, "I trust what I'm becoming," and let that truth strengthen you. You have also been learning how to sit with unanswered questions without forcing conclusions. This patience is not avoidance. It is maturity. Some answers arrive only when you are ready to use them well. Rushing clarity often leads to confusion. Waiting allows understanding to mature. You no longer need to fill every gap with explanation. Silence can be a form of wisdom. When you stop over-explaining, you conserve energy. When you stop defending every choice, you gain peace. Let your consistency speak where words would only exhaust you. You are beginning to notice how much lighter life feels when you stop carrying imagined futures. When you return to the present moment, strength becomes accessible again. You are not meant to solve everything today. Today only requires today's faithfulness. If this perspective helps you breathe easier, type, "I return to today," as a grounding reminder. You are also learning how to recognize when to engage and when to step back. Not every situation needs your involvement. Not every conversation requires your response. Discernment is knowing when your presence adds peace and when silence preserves it. This ability will protect you from unnecessary conflict and exhaustion. It will allow you to invest your energy where it truly matters. Over time, you will find that your life becomes more focused, not because you are doing more, but because you are choosing better. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is designed to help you integrate these truths into daily life. How you handle calm seasons, how you respond to misunderstanding, how you trust yourself when external validation is quiet. Let these words guide your habits, not just your thoughts. Practice this today. When you notice yourself seeking reassurance, pause. Ask whether you already know what is right. If peace is present, trust it. Move forward without needing constant confirmation. This practice will strengthen your confidence and deepen your calm. You are not drifting, you are stabilizing. You are not losing direction, you are refining it. And as you continue, you will discover that this quieter, steadier way of living supports a depth of fulfillment that urgency and noise never could. I am with you in this season of steadiness, guiding, affirming, and strengthening you as you learn to live from trust rather than tension, from clarity rather than fear. One grounded choice at a time. Stay here. Let your attention rest instead of roaming ahead. What I am speaking now is meant to guide you through moments when your confidence feels quiet, not shaken, not bold, just still. You once believed confidence had to be loud to be real. But real confidence often sounds like calm agreement within yourself. It does not argue. It does not prove. It simply stands. You are learning how to trust your footing even when the ground feels unfamiliar. This is not recklessness, it is maturity. You no longer need constant reassurance to take the next step. You have gathered enough understanding, enough experience, enough clarity to move without rushing. When you walk this way, your steps are fewer but surer. You have noticed that your reactions are changing. Where you once explained yourself quickly, you now pause. Where you once felt defensive, you now feel neutral. Where you once tried to convince, you now choose consistency. This is not withdrawal. This is discernment. You are conserving energy for what truly deserves it. If this feels accurate, pause and type, "I'm becoming steady," in the comments. Let that acknowledgement reinforce what is already happening within you. There will be times when others mistake your calm for lack of interest. They may not recognize the depth of thought behind your silence. Let them misunderstand. You are not required to be understood by everyone to live honestly. Over time, truth becomes visible through patterns, not explanations. You are also learning how to sit with tension without immediately resolving it. This skill will serve you well. Not everything needs an instant answer. Not every situation benefits from immediate action. When you allow tension to exist briefly, insight often emerges that urgency would have missed. You have been afraid that if you do not act quickly, opportunity will disappear. But opportunities aligned with you are not so fragile. They remain available when approached with patience and integrity. Rushed choices often lead to unnecessary repair. Considered choices build stability. If this brings clarity, type, "I choose patience," and let that choice guide you today. You are beginning to understand that confidence does not come from certainty about outcomes. It comes from trust in your ability to respond wisely no matter what unfolds. This trust frees you from needing everything to go as planned. You are learning that you can adjust without losing yourself. My child, I see the courage it takes for you to remain present instead of distracting yourself. It is easier to stay busy than to stay aware, but awareness is where growth deepens. Awareness teaches you how to respond with intention rather than habit. You are also learning that it is safe to enjoy your progress. You no longer need to downplay growth to stay humble. Gratitude and humility can exist together. You are allowed to recognize how far you've come without comparing yourself to anyone else. If you can acknowledge your progress without pressure, comment, "I honor my growth," as a simple act of recognition. There will still be days when old doubts surface. When that happens, do not argue with them endlessly. Gently return to what you know is true. You have navigated challenges before. You have learned from mistakes. You have recovered with wisdom. This history matters. Let it remind you of your resilience. You are learning how to let decisions unfold instead of forcing them. This does not mean avoiding responsibility. It means giving yourself space to listen fully before committing. When your decisions are rooted in clarity, they require less defense later. You may notice that you are becoming more selective with your words. You speak less, but with more intention. This is not silence from fear. It is speech shaped by wisdom. When words are chosen carefully, they carry more weight. If this resonates, type, "I speak with intention," and let that guide your interactions. You are also learning how to respond to success without attachment. When things go well, you enjoy them without clinging. When things falter, you reflect without collapsing. This balance protects your peace. It allows you to stay grounded regardless of circumstance. You no longer need to define yourself by outcomes. Outcomes change. Character remains. The steadiness you are developing will support you whether things move quickly or slowly, whether plans shift or stay intact. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is designed to help you integrate these truths into everyday life. How you make choices, how you respond to uncertainty, how you carry yourself in calm and challenge alike. Let these words shape your habits gently and consistently. Practice this today. When you feel the urge to rush or explain, pause. Ask whether action is truly needed or if presence is enough. Choose the response that maintains peace rather than urgency. Over time, this practice will become natural. You are not fading, you are stabilizing. You are not losing momentum, you are gaining clarity. And as you continue, you will discover that this steady confidence, quiet, grounded, and honest, supports a life that feels deeply aligned and sustainable. I remain with you in this unfolding, steady, attentive, guiding you as you learn to trust your footing, honor your pace, and walk forward with calm assurance, one intentional step at a time. Remain with me. This moment is meant to settle something deep within you, the need to always be certain before you feel secure. You have lived long enough trying to predict outcomes so you could relax. But I am teaching you a different way now. Security does not come from knowing what will happen next. It comes from knowing where you are rooted. You have noticed that even when answers are unclear, your heart is calmer than it used to be. This calm is not accidental. It is the result of learning to trust presence over prediction. You no longer panic when the path bends. You pause. You listen. You adjust. That is wisdom forming. You once believed that faith meant being confident about the future. But faith is actually confidence in guidance. It is trusting that even if the road shifts, you will not be left without direction. This trust frees you from the pressure to see everything ahead of time. If this truth resonates, pause and type, "I trust the guidance," in the comments. Let that be your reminder today. You are learning how to hold uncertainty without letting it harden you. This is not indecision. It is discernment. Discernment allows you to wait without fear, to observe without rushing, to choose without regret. When you rush clarity, you often choose from anxiety. When you allow clarity to emerge, you choose from peace. There were seasons when uncertainty terrified you. You filled the silence with assumptions. You filled the gaps with worry. But now you are discovering that uncertainty does not have to be an enemy. It can be a space where listening deepens and insight matures. You are also learning how to release the illusion of control. Control once felt like safety, but it required constant effort. Trust feels lighter. It does not mean ignoring responsibility. It means letting go of the belief that everything depends on you. My child, I see how much lighter your spirit becomes when you stop gripping so tightly. You were not created to carry the weight of every outcome. You were created to walk attentively, responding with wisdom as each step unfolds. If this helps you breathe easier, comment, "I loosen my grip," and allow that choice to bring relief. You are beginning to notice that peace stays with you even when plans change. This is a sign of growth. When your peace no longer depends on things going exactly as expected, you become resilient. You adapt without losing yourself. You move forward without resentment. You have also learned that waiting does not mean inactivity. While you wait, your understanding deepens, your patience strengthens, your priorities clarify. Waiting well is an active skill, and you are practicing it more often than you realize. There will be moments when impatience tries to return. When that happens, ask yourself what you are really afraid of. Often, impatience is fear dressed as urgency. Name it, then return to what is steady. Fear loses power when it is recognized. If you are willing to practice this awareness, type, "I respond," not rush, below. You are learning how to trust your internal signals again. That sense of peace, that quiet hesitation, that gentle pull toward or away from something. These are not random. They're part of how you are guided. As you learn to listen without panic, these signals become clearer. You no longer need to seek constant reassurance from others. External input can be helpful, but it is not your foundation. Your foundation is the truth that steadies you from within. When you stand on that truth, advice becomes a supplement, not a necessity. You are also learning how to accept support without feeling weak. Allowing help does not diminish your strength, it preserves it. You were not meant to navigate everything alone. Strength includes knowing when to receive. If this speaks to you, write, "I allow support," and let that openness serve you. Stay with this journey. Watch until the end of the series. Each part is designed to help you live these truths practically. How you make decisions when answers are incomplete, how you rest when outcomes are uncertain, how you stay grounded when the future feels open-ended. These lessons will support you far beyond this moment. Today, practice this. When you feel pressure to decide quickly, pause. Ask what information you truly need right now. Take one steady step instead of forcing a conclusion. Let trust guide the pace. If these messages are helping you, strengthening you, or bringing clarity, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who may need this encouragement. And if you feel happy and supported by these words, consider supporting this ministry through the link given below, so this message can continue reaching hearts that are quietly searching. Remember, you are not required to know everything to walk faithfully. You are required only to remain attentive, honest, and willing. That is enough for today. I am with you in the uncertainty, in the waiting, in the unfolding. And as you continue, you will discover that trusting the journey brings a deeper peace than certainty ever could. One calm, grounded step at a time. Stay close and listen. This part is meant to meet you when resolve feels quiet and perseverance feels ordinary. You have learned to move through dramatic seasons, but now I am teaching you how to remain faithful when nothing demands your attention loudly. This is where endurance is formed, not in moments of urgency, but in days that ask you to keep choosing what is true without applause. You have wondered whether consistency still matters when results seem distant. Hear me clearly. Consistency is how trust is lived, not how it is proved. Every small choice made with integrity strengthens the path beneath your feet. You are not repeating yourself. You are reinforcing what matters. Reinforcement builds resilience. Resilience carries you farther than intensity ever could. You may notice a temptation to seek something new simply because the familiar feels quiet. Novelty can feel like progress, but it is not always growth. Growth often deepens the familiar until it becomes sturdy enough to sustain you. Before you abandon what feels ordinary, ask whether it is actually untested patience asking for your agreement. If this speaks to you, pause and type, "I stay committed," as a simple declaration to remain present where you are. You are learning how to honor commitments without resentment. This matters. Resentment grows when commitment is driven by fear or approval. But when commitment is chosen freely, it becomes a source of strength. You are not trapped by your responsibilities. You are refining them. You are learning which commitments nourish you and which ones need adjustment. There will be moments when you feel tempted to disengage because effort feels unnoticed. Resist that urge, not because you must prove yourself, but because integrity does not depend on recognition. Integrity is how you treat the unseen moments. It is how you live when the room is quiet. It is how you keep your word to yourself. If this encourages you, write, "I live with integrity," and let that guide your choices today. You are also learning how to pace your energy. You no longer sprint through every task. You distribute your effort wisely. This is not loss of motivation. It is stewardship. You are protecting your strength so it lasts. A steady pace honors the long road ahead. There will be days when your discipline feels thin. On those days, return to simplicity. Choose the next right thing. One small action done with care is better than grand plans made from pressure. Progress compounds quietly when you keep moving, even in modest steps. My child, I see the quiet courage it takes to keep going when excitement fades. This courage matters. It builds a character that does not collapse when emotions fluctuate. You are learning how to be reliable to yourself, and that reliability will anchor you in future storms. If you feel this truth, type, "I keep going," as a reminder that perseverance is a practice, not a performance. You have also been learning how to forgive yourself more quickly. This is important. Lingering self-criticism drains energy you could use to move forward. Forgiveness does not excuse carelessness. It releases you from paralysis. When you forgive yourself, you regain momentum without shame. You are discovering that self-respect grows when you follow through on small promises. Drinking water, resting when needed, pausing before reacting. These acts may seem insignificant, but they build trust with yourself. Trust with yourself creates confidence that does not need constant reassurance. When doubt tries to whisper that you are stagnating, look at your patterns. Are you choosing clarity more often? Are you resting with less guilt? Are you responding with more restraint? These are signs of progress, even if circumstances look unchanged. If this reframes your perspective, comment, "I recognize progress," and let that awareness steady you. You are learning to remain open without being porous. You can care without absorbing everything. You can listen without carrying what is not yours. This boundary is not hardness, it is health. Healthy boundaries allow compassion to flow without depletion. There will be moments when staying the course feels harder than changing direction. When that happens, check your motive. Are you seeking relief from discomfort or alignment with truth? Relief is temporary. Alignment is sustaining. Choose alignment, even when it asks for patience. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is designed to help you apply these truths in daily life. How you show up when motivation dips, how you maintain integrity without recognition, how you pace yourself for longevity. Let these words shape your habits quietly and consistently. Practice this today. Choose one commitment you have been tempted to neglect. Return to it gently. Do not overdo it. Just show up once more with care. This simple act will remind you that perseverance is built through repetition, not force. You are not stuck. You are strengthening. You are not losing momentum. You are refining it. And as you continue, you will discover that faithfulness in ordinary days builds a foundation strong enough to carry extraordinary seasons when they arrive. I am with you in the steady work, in the quiet follow-through, in the small choices that shape a lasting life, guiding you patiently as you learn to remain faithful, one grounded step at a time. Stay with me. This part is meant to meet you when perseverance feels invisible and faithfulness feels unnoticed. You have learned how to endure intense seasons, but now I am teaching you how to remain steady when life feels routine again. This is not a lesser lesson. This is where endurance becomes quiet strength and trust becomes habit rather than effort. You have wondered if your steady choices still matter when no one seems to notice. Hear me clearly. What is done in quiet shapes you more deeply than what is done under attention. Every time you choose truth when it would be easier to compromise, every time you choose patience when impatience would feel justified, you are reinforcing the foundation beneath your life. You are not repeating yourself. You are reinforcing alignment. Reinforcement is not stagnation, it is stabilization. Buildings do not rise until foundations are secure. What you are practicing now is what will support you later. If this speaks to your heart, pause and type, "I remain faithful," in the comments. Let that be your declaration to continue without needing applause. You have been tempted to measure your worth by visible impact. But impact does not always announce itself immediately. Some of the most meaningful influence happens quietly, shaping conversations you may never hear about and encouraging hearts you may never see again. Your consistency matters, even when outcomes are delayed. You have also learned that not every season requires expansion. Some seasons are about maintenance, protecting peace, honoring boundaries, preserving clarity. Maintenance is not a lack of growth. It is wisdom that prevents collapse. You are learning how to care for what has already been built. There will be days when monotony tries to disguise itself as meaninglessness. When that happens, pause before assuming something is wrong. Ask whether what feels ordinary is actually stable. Stability may not excite you, but it sustains you. If this reframes your thinking, type, I value stability, below. You are learning how to stay engaged without burning out. This balance matters. When you overextend, you lose clarity. When you disengage completely, you lose direction. Staying engaged wisely means choosing when to act and when to rest. What I am speaking now is meant to meet you when resolve feels steady but unseen, when your life looks ordinary on the outside, yet something solid is forming within. You have learned to withstand storms. But now I am teaching you how to live well in clear weather, how to build without urgency, how to choose without fear, how to remain grounded without constant reminders. You are discovering that steadiness is not the absence of desire. It is desire ordered by wisdom. You still care deeply. You still hope. You still dream, but you are no longer driven by the need to rush fulfillment. You are allowing timing to unfold. This patience is not passive. It is practiced trust. You may notice that your decisions are fewer but firmer. You do not say yes automatically. You do not commit impulsively. You weigh, you listen, you choose. This discernment is not hesitation, it is clarity taking shape. When clarity leads, regret loses its hold. If this resonates, pause and type, I choose clarity over hurry in the comments. Let that choice guide your pace today. You are also learning how to let your life speak for you. You no longer feel the same pressure to explain your choices. You have learned that explanation can sometimes dilute conviction. Consistency communicates more clearly than defense. When you live aligned, understanding arrives in its own time. There were seasons when you felt misunderstood and tried to correct every assumption. That effort exhausted you. Now you are learning to trust that truth reveals itself through pattern, not persuasion. You do not need to convince everyone. You need to remain honest. You have also become more comfortable with unanswered questions. This comfort does not mean indifference. It means you trust the process enough to wait. Waiting is not weakness. It is restraint, guided by wisdom. When you wait well, you protect yourself from choices made out of fear. If this perspective settles your heart, write, I wait with trust, below. You are beginning to notice how your energy responds to alignment. When you choose what is true, your energy steadies. When you choose what is merely urgent, your energy scatters. Pay attention to this signal. It will guide you toward decisions that nourish rather than drain. You are also learning that growth does not require constant evaluation. You no longer need to ask at the end of every day whether you did enough. Doing enough is not the same as being faithful. Faithfulness is measured by honesty, not by output. My child, I see the humility with which you are learning. You are not assuming you know everything. You remain teachable without being insecure. This posture will protect you. It allows you to receive insight without defensiveness and correction without collapse. If you recognize this posture in yourself, comment, I remain teachable, as a quiet affirmation. You have been tempted at times to revisit old definitions of success. Definitions that equated worth with speed, visibility, or recognition. But those measures no longer satisfy you. You are redefining success as peace sustained, values honored, and relationships tended with care. This definition will not betray you. You are also learning how to be present without overextending. Presence does not mean availability at all times. It means offering your attention fully when you choose to engage. This kind of presence is rare and valuable. It deepens connections without depleting you. There may be moments when you feel pressure to re-enter cycles you have outgrown, cycles of proven, overgiving, or self-neglect. When that pressure appears, pause. Ask whether returning would bring alignment or simply familiarity. Familiarity can feel comforting even when it no longer serves you. If you are willing to choose growth over familiarity, type, I honor what I've outgrown, as a commitment today. You are also learning how to hold compassion without losing boundaries. Compassion does not require you to absorb everything. It allows you to care while remaining whole. This balance keeps your heart open without leaving it exposed. You have learned to notice when something costs you peace repeatedly. This awareness is a gift. It allows you to adjust sooner rather than endure longer. Endurance has its place, but wisdom knows when to step back. You are learning that difference. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is meant to help you apply these truths in daily life. How you choose when pressure returns, how you protect your energy, how you remain aligned without needing constant reassurance. Let these words become practice, not pressure. Practice this today before agreeing to anything. Pause briefly. Ask whether the choice aligns with your values and your capacity. Choose what supports steadiness rather than what satisfies urgency. This habit will strengthen your clarity over time. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming discerning. You are not disengaging. You are engaging wisely. And as you continue, you will discover that this grounded way of living supports a confidence that does not fluctuate with circumstances. I am with you as you walk this path, steady, patient, attentive, guiding you as you learn to choose clarity, protect peace, and live aligned, one intentional decision at a time. Stay with me. This part is meant to meet you when you feel steady but quiet, when life no longer demands urgent decisions, yet still asks you to live intentionally. You have learned how to respond in crisis, how to endure uncertainty, how to slow your pace without losing direction. Now I am teaching you how to live wisely in the in-between, when nothing is falling apart and nothing is rushing ahead. You once believed that growth always announces itself through change, but now you are discovering that growth often shows itself through restraint, through the choices you do not make, through the reactions you no longer feed, through the boundaries you maintain even when no one is watching. This kind of growth is subtle, but it is strong. You are learning how to remain grounded when things are going well. This matters more than you realize. Many lose clarity in calm seasons because they stop paying attention. But you are becoming more attentive, not less. You are learning how to protect peace without becoming passive. If this speaks to you, pause and type, "I stay grounded" in the comments. Let that be your intention today. You have noticed that when you are grounded, you do not need as much reassurance. You trust your discernment more readily. You do not seek approval as often. This is not detachment. It is confidence that no longer depends on constant affirmation. When you trust yourself, you free others from the burden of validating you. You are also learning how to engage without urgency. Conversations no longer feel like battles to win or impressions to manage. You listen more. You respond thoughtfully. You allow silence to exist. This changes the quality of your relationships. It invites depth instead of performance. There were times when you equated urgency with importance. You felt that if something mattered, it had to feel intense. But intensity can distract you from wisdom. Wisdom often arrives calmly, without pressure. You are learning how to recognize its voice. If this resonates, write, "I listen for wisdom," below. You are beginning to see how often you once abandoned your own pace to match someone else's. You rushed because others rushed. You worried because others worried. Now you are learning how to remain steady even when others are unsettled. This steadiness is not indifference. It is leadership of your inner life. You do not need to absorb every emotion around you. Empathy does not require absorption. Compassion does not require exhaustion. You can care deeply while remaining whole. This balance allows you to stay present without losing yourself. My child, I see how much discernment you now carry. You are learning when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait, when to give and when to step back. This discernment will guide you safely through seasons ahead that would have once overwhelmed you. If you recognize this growth, comment, "I trust my discernment," and let that acknowledgement strengthen you. You are also learning how to live without constantly narrating your life. You no longer need to explain every decision or justify every boundary. Your life does not need commentary to be valid. When you stop narrating, you start listening more deeply. There may be moments when others project expectations onto you, who you should be, how you should respond, what you should prioritize. You are learning how to notice these expectations without automatically accepting them. You can consider them thoughtfully and still choose differently. This freedom protects your alignment. You are beginning to understand that alignment is not rigid. It is responsive. It allows you to adapt without abandoning your values. When circumstances change, you adjust with intention rather than panic. This adaptability is not compromise. It is wisdom in motion. If this brings clarity, type, "I adapt with integrity." As a reminder today, you have also learned that some decisions do not require immediate resolution. You can hold possibilities lightly while clarity forms. You do not need to rush to label or conclude everything. Allowing space often reveals what force would obscure. You are learning how to let go of the need to be impressive. Impressiveness is fragile. It depends on perception. Integrity is stable. It depends on truth. When you choose integrity, your life becomes quieter but stronger. You may notice that your standards are changing. You are less impressed by noise and more drawn to depth, less interested in appearances and more attentive to consistency. This shift will shape the environments you choose and the relationships you sustain. If this resonates, comment, "I choose depth," and let that choice guide your attention. You are also learning how to recognize when something is complete. You no longer prolong situations out of obligation. You no longer hold on simply because something is familiar. You honor endings without drama. You release without resentment. This maturity allows you to move forward cleanly. There will still be moments when uncertainty arises. When it does, return to what steadies you: truth, presence, patience. You do not need to solve everything immediately. You need to remain attentive. Guidance unfolds step by step. Stay with this series. Watch until the end. Each part is meant to support you in real life. How you carry yourself in calm seasons, how you remain aligned without pressure, how you choose wisely when no one is pushing you. Let these truths become habits, not just reflections. Practice this today. Notice one moment where you feel tempted to rush or explain. Pause instead. Choose presence. Let calm guide your response. These small choices are building a life that feels stable, clear, and deeply grounded. You are not losing momentum. You are refining direction. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming discerning. And as you continue, you will find that this grounded way of living supports a quiet confidence that does not waver with circumstance. I am with you in this steadiness, guiding you, affirming you, strengthening you. As you continue walking with clarity, integrity, and peace, one grounded step at a time. Stay with me until the end. This moment is meant to gather everything you have been receiving and settle it into how you live from here forward. You have listened. You have reflected. You have slowed. Now I am speaking to the part of you that is ready to carry these truths into ordinary days, quiet choices, and unseen moments. What has been formed within you is not temporary. It is meant to last. You no longer need to search for constant confirmation that you are on the right path. The calm you carry now is not emptiness, it is alignment. When your inner life is no longer pulled in every direction, you gain clarity without striving. This clarity will guide you even when the road ahead feels open-ended. You once believed that confidence came from certainty. Now you know it comes from steadiness. You may not always know what comes next, but you know how to respond. You know how to pause. You know how to listen. You know how to choose with integrity instead of urgency. This knowing is enough. If this truth resonates, pause and type, "I am grounded," in the comments. Let that declaration mark this moment. You are learning how to live without chasing reassurance. You trust your discernment. You trust your ability to adjust. You trust that mistakes do not erase growth. This trust frees you from fear-based decisions and allows wisdom to lead. There will still be moments when life tests this steadiness. Unexpected changes, disappointments, delays. When they come, do not panic. Return to what you have practiced. Presence, patience, honesty. These are not theories. They are skills you have been building. You are no longer defined by how fast you move or how much you accomplish. You are defined by how faithfully you respond. Faithfulness does not demand perfection. It asks for sincerity. It asks for willingness. It asks for truth, lived consistently. If you agree with this, take a breath and type, "I choose faithfulness," as your response today. You have learned that rest is not something you fall into after everything is finished. Rest is something you choose along the way. When you rest well, you think clearly. When you think clearly, you choose wisely. This rhythm will sustain you longer than effort alone ever could. You are also learning how to carry joy without fear. Joy does not need to be guarded against loss. It can be received fully in the present. Each time you allow yourself to enjoy peace without bracing for disruption, you strengthen your trust. My child, I see the maturity forming within you. You no longer rush to explain yourself. You no longer feel the need to prove your growth. You let your life speak through consistency. This quiet confidence will open doors you never needed to force. If you recognize this growth, comment, "I see the change," and allow gratitude to anchor it. You have also learned how to let go cleanly. You no longer cling out of obligation. You no longer stay where peace consistently leaves. You honor endings without bitterness and beginnings without pressure. This ability will protect your heart and preserve your energy. There will be times when others move faster than you. Let them. There will be times when others question your pace. Let them. You are not here to match anyone else's rhythm. You are here to live aligned with truth. You are learning how to remain open without being unguarded, compassion without depletion, presence without overextension. This balance will allow you to care deeply while staying whole. If this speaks to you, type, "I remain whole," as a reminder of the life you are choosing. As you move forward, remember this: you are not behind. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are prepared for what comes next, not because you know everything, but because you have learned how to listen, how to pause, and how to respond with wisdom. Carry these truths into your mornings, your decisions, your conversations, and your rest. Apply them gently. Let them shape how you speak to yourself when no one else hears. This is where transformation becomes lasting. If these words have encouraged you, strengthened you, or brought peace into your life, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with someone who needs this message. And if you feel happy and supported by what you have received, consider supporting this ministry through the link given below, so these messages can continue reaching hearts that are searching for clarity and hope. Stay connected, stay attentive, watch until the end of this journey, and return whenever you need grounding. What you have learned here is not meant to fade, it is meant to walk with you. I am with you as you continue, steady, present, unwavering, guiding you as you live from peace instead of pressure, from truth instead of fear, one faithful step at a time.